tell me a little bit about yourself, just for somebody who may not know, like your journey to Nashville and kind of how it all started for you.
Yeah, I moved to Nashville at 19. I gotten a scholarship to Belmont, and I gave it up at 18 to stay in my hometown and be with this boy. So when I found out he's running around on me, it was the catalyst I needed. Threw my stuff in black hefty bags, and I drove to Nashville and stayed in parking lot for a few weeks, did what I had to do. Got a fake ID and snuck into a honky tonk to get a job. I knew I had to be 21 to get in. So anyways, I faked it, said I was 23, and I got in there and just begged them to let me sing. And they did. I got a job singing 4 to 8 hours every day. 4 to 8, not 48. Every day, singing honky tonk songs, all the covers in the world you could think of, all the old and new country music, and it was such a learning experience for me. After that, the whole time as I was working down there for 2.5 years, I was writing as well. Got signed as a staff writer at Universal Publishing and went in to write for other artists and stuff. And slowly but surely, all these songs started coming together that the team was like, hey, we don't want to pitch these. We want you to put them out. And at that point, I didn't feel like I'd worked hard enough as a staff writer to be acknowledged as an artist yet. So I said no. I was like, let me just work on myself some more. Let me work on myself. I want to be ready when I get to that point if I get that chance, And anyways, I kept working. 2017, I had a house fire that I lost mostly everything. And it taught me so much about myself. It fortified me, I feel like. And after that, as my personal life seemed to be falling apart, my professional life picked up. Mary Hilliard, a manager in town, an awesome manager, she heard a production of Family Tree that me and one of my best friends at Universal Publishing, Mikey Reeves, had made together on a $500 demo budget. And that's actually the exact same, the same feel, all the same tracks and everything is what you hear on the radio now. But anyways, I thought that was really cool. We just kind of started co-producing some songs I'd written for fun, kind of as a fluke. And then Mary heard them, said she wanted to send them to some labels and stuff. Got a lot of interest, and we decided to go with Capitol Records because they were like, you know what, we'll give you full creative control. We'll let you make this album however you want. And that was what I wanted. Yeah. So now we have this album on August 14th going to come out, and it's my very first debut album. And I'm just thrilled, man. It's just been such a wild ride. Sometimes it feels like it's taken years. Sometimes it feels like it happened almost overnight sometimes. But I'm just so grateful that whatever it is that's happened so far has to get me to this point that I can put this music out.
Definitely. That's so exciting. So you kind of mentioned when you were writing, you didn't really want to do the artist thing quite yet, but when you were writing songs like Family Tree and stuff that's become yours, did you ever think like, oh, like I kind of want to sing this, like maybe this could be for me? Or did you develop a sound, or was it always just kind of going in and thinking about other people?
So I would go in to write for other people, and it was like it never came out right if I had someone else in mind. But once I started writing genuinely for myself and started focusing on what is the most honest, witty way to tell this story and keep people in it for 3 minutes at a time, instead of, hey, today you have to write for Carrie Underwood. Today you have to write for Cam, whoever it is that as a female staff writer, they were like, hey, write for these females, write for these females. It was fun, but I never felt like I got anything that they'd want to sing or I would want to sing. It seemed when I just wanted to write from my heart, it came out right. And those were the songs that the team got excited about. So when finally, my whole life had kind of fallen apart after that fire, Mary was like, we need to do this. Like, you need to do the artistry. Like, listen to these songs. These songs are you. It's your story. Why don't you tell it? And I'd always wanted to deep down, but I just, I still was unsure. And I remember thinking to myself and saying it to her over the table that I literally have nothing left to lose. So why not? And we decided to jump in, and then the artistry happened.
Yeah, and here you are. And I love that description of your songs, honest and witty. I think that's so like perfect for you. So
Thank
tell
you.
me kind of about choosing the songs that you did for this album, because I know that you co-wrote all of them.
I wanted every single song to have a direct story, a true story behind it that happened to me. And that's really how I decided. I tried to pick, I wanted like a plethora of feelings and emotions to be evoked when people listen to this. I wanted to be able to give them like a safe place sonically that they can just dance or laugh or cry or, scream about some boy that did them wrong. Whatever it is that they needed to feel, I want people to feel it. I think that's so important in this day and age where so much bad is happening, around us, that we disassociate ourselves and we pull ourselves back, and we kind of put this wall between us and the world. I want in my music to give them a space where there's no walls. They just listen, like they can listen by themselves in the kitchen and dance to it. I want that kind of sound. I wanted to give them enough songs so that they could do that. And, listening back, I think I did. Like, I'm very optimistic about it now. I'm very excited.
Definitely. I saw that like you were doing a little jazzercise to one of your songs, a little dance.
Yeah.
Excited for that?
Yeah, that was the first night that as a team and everybody, we got together and really got to dive into these songs. And we were also drinking a lot of rosé, so we were just having a great time. But that is that video I just posted on Instagram is me and my day-to-day manager, Taylor. And we've heard these songs a million times, but that day it was just so fun to get to kind of experience it for the first time again. Because we just danced to it in my manager Mary's house. And yeah, I now I'm like, oh man, am I gonna have to put a jazzercise exercise out? Yeah. I will. Don't tempt me with a good time, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the dance moves would be for the whole song,
Yeah, I think you've got a music video for that song ready to go. For sure. So obviously you have a couple collaborators on this album, some awesome women, Ashley McBride, Tennille Townes, and like Reba McEntire, which is just casual. So talk to me about how those happened.
Oh man, Reba was kind of a shot in the dark. Our managers were friends. Her manager brought me up to my manager. My manager brought up, one of my biggest, bucket list wishes is to sing a song with Redhead, sing a song with Reba. And when I kind of expressed this to my manager, she was like, well, what song? And I said, obviously Redhead. If it could be on this album, it would be Redhead. And yeah, Reba had told her manager that she liked my music. So they relayed all this info back and forth. Hey, these two artists kind of seem to like each other. AKA, I'm obsessed with her, but she seems to like, my voice. So I was like, would she be willing? My manager asked hers, and he said, you know what? The one thing I can do is ask her, play it for her. Played it for her, and she was like, I'm willing to do it. Tell Caylee to tell me which lyrics, and I'll sing it. And I peed myself a little, I think. I can't even explain the excitement I felt. It was unreal to know that she was willing to do it. And when she came in the studio, she was so professional and cool, but so sweet too, and kind and warm-hearted. That was just kind of a shot in the dark. Tennille and I and Ashley and I have become really close friends. Tennille and I, we were on a writer's retreat when my house burned down in 2017 due to an electrical fire in an old house. And anyways, I remember I went to the patio because I just needed to be alone. I got the call at 9 a.m. that it was burning and there was nothing I could do, 3 states away. And I just went to a little patio and I just started crying by myself because I just needed to let it out. And she came out. She didn't know me from Adam and just sat down and held me. And we it was like 95 degrees outside. We were sweating and crying. Liquid was everywhere. But the thing is, it was like, I knew right then and there that she was a genuine person. And those are the people, especially in the music industry, that I strive to connect with and go deep with. And I told her right then and there, I was like, you are one of my closest friends now. I would trust you with my life and I would give my life for you. Like that kind of genuine depth with someone is just so magical. And we just became fast friends afterwards. And then after that, Ashley, I really wanted to hang out with Ashley. We swapped numbers after a radio show. And we've started, me, Tennille, and Ashley will drink on my patio every few weeks and just sing for the birds in my backyard. And it's so cool. But getting these two women in on one of the songs that means the most to me on this album, it's called Mean Something. It was exactly what I needed, I feel like, to have this song feel complete. It didn't feel complete to me until they came in and started singing on it. And it was like, it was almost like God approved it right then and there. He's like, hey, now you're going to feel a sense of completion because it truly is complete. I was waiting for these two voices to be here. And it's such an amazing thing to have women that I look up to and I admire so much on an album with me. I mean, it is such a blessing, all three of them.
Definitely. And so along with these awesome women, you just released a collaboration with Alan Jackson, who is like another kind of huge deal. So were you always influenced by kind of that traditional country music? And then how did that one happen too?
Yeah. When I was 13, I mean, the way I even got into music was watching an info commercial. And it was like, you know how the old info commercials would show like 20 seconds of each song, be like, stand by you.
Yes.
Yeah. And it'd be like white lightning, and it just keep playing like all of them. And the titles would scroll the page. I was watching like this 15-minute info commercial about the golden classics of country. And I begged my mom for like 3 months to buy me that CD box set. And she finally did. And I just wore it out. I mean, I became obsessed with it. Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, Loretta Lynn. She was my first concert. I loved old country. And then I moved into 90s country because that was my childhood. That was a lot of the stuff I was raised on, that in the early 2000s. And I mean, there is something to do, especially with the older country that kind of raised me, that is really impactful to me. It was just kind of a wish, another kind of manifestation that I love Don Williams. I remember crying when he passed away because he's one of those guys that I would have just died to have met, And when that happened, I remember just going back through his catalog over and over again. And then COVID hit. And I started going back to Alan Jackson's gospel record over and over again. And that gospel record is what my childhood sounded like in church. Like that's the type of hymns, Southern Baptist hymns that we would sing along to. And it brought me peace. And so I was talking with my team and telling them kind of about that, like where I was finding comfort in this time. And they were like, we think that it would be a beautiful thing if you duetted with someone that you love, who would you like to duet with? And the three names I gave was Alan Jackson, George Strait, or Jesus. I would love to sing with all three of these people one day. And anyways, they said, well, Alan's first on the list. Let's ask him. And they asked him, and what my manager said his response was, they sent him Small Town Hypocrite, the one song with the most cuss words. It's just a venting. It's literally 3 minutes of me venting. And anyways, he goes, I love her voice, but man, I don't know if I could say it on here, but man, she says shit a lot. And anyways, I sat there and I was like, can I quote that forever? Can I just have that quote for the rest of my life? Can I just write that on a piece of paper and frame it? So when I'm having a bad day, it's like, yes, I may cuss too much, but Jesus and Alan Jackson love me. So I'm all right with that.
Girl, if you need your Instagram bio, like that is it.
Yeah, for real.
That's awesome. So, okay, not a couple months ago, God, like half a year ago, before Miranda Lambert's Roadside Bars Pink Guitar Tour, I interviewed her and she had such nice things to say about you and like just, your stage presence, your makeup, which also is great, but just, and then being out there and having her champion you like that, what did that kind of mean to you? Because she's obviously, one of the biggest females in country music right now.
It blew me away. It gave me so much hope though, as well. It was this beautiful mixture of kind of like awe and non-believing, like, why is she so sweet to me? Like backstage, she'd be like, hey, come on over here. I want to hang out with you, like, let's get a drink. Let's sit and talk. And like, I mean, we'd sit there and talk about life and then good stage pantyhose. And I mean, literally just talked about anything. And it's just, they always say, don't meet your idols. And I remember when I was 16, I had my first full band show. And I started the show with Kerosene, and I think I ended it with Gunpowder and Lead. And that's just, to me, getting to go on a tour with someone that has meant so much to me is this like weird full circle. And then to get to know her off stage and know that she is just as kind and warm as she feels on stage. She's just as genuine. I know I've said genuine like 30 times in this interview, but it's so essential, I feel like, because country music is based on telling the stories of our lives. You know, part of country was derived from folk music, which was literally telling the stories of the people that came before you in song to remember it, you know? And I feel like that is so essential to it. And I think the only way you can create true stories about real life that people connect to is if you mean it and you're really the person that you seem to be on stage. And Miranda is even better off stage, I think, than she is on. Like her energy is just, it transcends from just the stage. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And then one last thing, you are nominated for 2 ACS this year. Are you excited for that ceremony? It's in Nashville this year.
Is wild. I mean, yeah, it's just, it is such an honor. It is such a flippant honor to be even placed in this group of this caliber of women. I've worked with every single one of them on the road, playing radio tour, you know, playing radio shows one after the other, and seeing them work. Like every single one of these women deserve it. Every single woman in this category is just this bright light in country music, I feel like, that we need. So to be grouped in with them is such an honor. To be nominated is such an honor. And it's just so cool. And then to be up for a musical event with Miranda and Elle and Maren and Tennille and Ashley, it's just, you know, another dream come true that I never really thought I would get any of this in my life. Nonetheless, you know, in the first year or two, you know, I've had so many champions, and I'm just grateful for each and every single one of them, because I wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of where you got your album name from, the inspiration behind it, if it wasn't for you?
Yeah. I realized, like, after I finished the album, I was like, man, this is so cool. This is everything I've wanted. I've got to put all these stories of my life in it. But these are all stories about me. I was like, isn't that selfish a little bit? And I was like, the thing is, if I put this album out and no one listens, what was the point other than self-therapy? You know, I saved a lot of money on therapy sessions due to songwriting sessions. But the thing is, I wanted to find a way that I could show people how much I appreciate them taking a chance and taking a shot at listening to a new artist and connecting with their music, you know, from the ground up. I feel like some of my fans have truly built a foundation and like this really strong gathering around me that I don't understand, to be completely honest, but I am just so grateful for. I wanted to dedicate it to them. I wanted to dedicate this to everybody that has said one kind thing to me. Every man that has loved me and left me. Every single person out there listening that connects with one song and feels a little less alone when they listen. I wanted to dedicate it to them. And so that's why I named it, If It Wasn't For You.